Merry meet. Welcome to Witch Magic. I'm Dawn, and I will be taking you on a spiritual journey to all things magic and witchcrafts. Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Witch Magic. Today, we are going to talk about the signs of the zodiac. How was everybody's week? So, let me tell you about this past weekend. We went to a racing event. It was a NASCAR race. And we get there. And first of all, I just want to say that the field that we parked in was loaded with crickets. We got out of the car and that's all you see were crickets jumping around everywhere. I tried to catch a couple of them just to hold them, but they started just jumping everywhere. I mean, there were hundreds of them, if not thousands. So it was pretty cool, but then at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I hope we don't step on them and run them over, anything like that. And then we're walking around the place where the event was. And I'm looking around because this was actually my first ever official NASCAR race that I've ever been to in person. So I'm looking at all the sights and everything. And then all of a sudden, I go down. I fell on the pavement and I scratched up my knee. And people around us were saying, "Are you okay? Okay?" And this one lady, she came over and I stood up. Well, my boyfriend helped me stand up and my knee was all bleeding everywhere. And she's like, "Oh my goodness, let me get you something for that." So she runs over to the nearest vendor and she grabs some napkins and she had her bottle of water that had ice in it and she poured that on and she started to put it on my knee. And it's funny because we just happened to pass by the first aid tent. And Chris had mentioned, "Oh, look, there's first aid. I guess that's convenient to know where that is." And no sooner has he said that, but boom, I went down on the ground. Now what happened was this was on the pavement. There was a hole in the pavement and there were a couple little rocks in it. And I think I might have slid on the rocks and I had my sandals on and he was holding my hand too. And all of a sudden I just went down. So we went to the first aid tent and they cleaned me up and they patched me up and we showed them where the hole was. So hopefully it wouldn't happen to somebody else again. So I'm not sure what they actually did to the hole, but I'm hoping they put some kind of cone or something around it so that no one would walk there. But anyway, other than that, we had a fun time. And I just did not let that stop me from enjoying my first NASCAR race. So there you go. All right, so let's get back to the zodiac. The word zodiac comes from the Greek word Zodiacus kuklos, which means circle of animals. Think about the creatures that are made up from constellations, right? And as you know, there are 12 of them, which makes up our birth signs, also known as sun signs. Even though there are 12 months in a year, the signs don't actually start with the beginning of the month, but more towards the third week or so. And we will go over all of that, as well as the associations for each sign. It really helps to have your birth chart ready so that you can see where your planets and aspects fall. I've mentioned the app called Time Passages in a previous episode. You can use the free version, that's what I do. All you have to do is add your information and it will make up your chart for you. And you can also do other people's charts as well. But if you want to compare the two charts or more charts, you actually have to pay for the service. But I recommend printing out your chart and putting it in your book of shadows for easy access. And that way you can look at it anytime. So I just want you to know that each sign has a positive or a negative quality. This is where that yin-yang symbol makes good visual for the necessary duality. No one quality is better than the other. Keep that in mind. It's just that one cannot exist without the other. Yin-yang. Dark, light, full, empty, give, take. The list goes on and on. Characteristics of these qualities actually suggest the opposite. Think of a magnet. Opposite sides attract each other while the same sides repel. Also, each sign is closely related to an element, and the elements, as we know, are earth, air, fire, and water. Also, each sign has a cardinal, fixed, or immutable quality, which basically means that all signs must work together. So let's go over all the signs and what they mean. Aries. You are in Aries if you were born between March 21 and April 19. The constellation is in the shape of the ram. This sign is a positive polarity and cardinal quality. The element is fire, and it is ruled by Mars. Aries people tend to be very creative and ambitious. They are also sympathetic and caring. They like everything organized and planned out. They are also usually faithful and honest. But they don't like being told what to do, and they can get frustrated real easy. But they can also cool down pretty quickly as to what angered them. Taurus. You are a Taurus if you were born between April 20 and May 20. The constellation is in the shape of the bull. This sign is a negative polarity and fixed quality. The element is earth, and it's ruled by Venus. Taurus people are very intelligent. They are hardworking and honest and are very understanding, and they are known for their kindness and are very reliable. But they can also be inconsistent, and they are known to have a jealous streak. They can get possessive in their relationships, and they are very stubborn. Gemini. Geminis are born between May 21 and June 21. The constellation are the twins. The sign is a positive polarity, and it's a mutable quality. The element is air, and it is ruled by Mercury. Gemini people are intelligent, and they love being in social situations. They are very loyal and adaptive. They tend to stay very active as well as daring and bold, but they can be inconsistent, two-faced, indecisive, and overly anxious. Cancer. Cancers are born between June 22 and July 22. The constellation is the crab. This sign is a negative polarity and a cardinal quality. The element is water, and it's ruled by the moon. Cancer people are very loyal and protective. They care deeply, and they are intuitive. However, they are highly sensitive and can get very moody. They tend to take things personally and can get vindictive when they think that someone is against them. Leo. You are a Leo if you were born between July 23 and August 22. The constellation is the lion. This is a positive polarity sign and a fixed quality. The element is fire, and it's ruled by the sun. Leo people are very confident, and they love being the center of attention. They are ambitious, very loyal, and protective of their loved ones. They are also generous and tend to like luxurious things. But don't get them angry, or you will know about it. They can also be very possessive and jealous. Virgo. You are a Virgo if you were born between August 23 and September 22. The constellation is the Virgin. This sign has a negative polarity and mutable quality. The element is earth, and it's ruled by Mercury. Virgo people are hardworking and reliable. They can be very patient and kind. They can also get creative, but they can also be very stubborn and critical, and they tend to overthink things. Libra. Libras are born between September 23 and October 23. The constellation are the scales. The polarity for this sign is positive with a cardinal quality. The element is air, and it's ruled by Venus. Libra people are very social and clever. They are fair and they love to spread peace. But they tend to put themselves last and they feel left out a lot of the time, and burnout comes very easy for them. They can tend to feel unappreciated, and when they feel this way, it really depletes their confidence. Scorpio. Scorpios are born between October 24 and November 21. The constellation is the Scorpion. This sign's polarity is negative and the quality is fixed. The element is water, and it's ruled by Mars and Pluto. Scorpio people have a lot of determination. They are honest and loyal as well as ambitious, but they can get very jealous and secretive and resentful. Sagittarius. You are a Sagittarius if you were born between November 22 and December 21. The constellation is the Archer. Polarity for this sign is positive with a mutable quality. The element is fire, and it's ruled by Jupiter. Sag people are faithful, intelligent, and sympathetic. They are gifted people and are very loving, but they can get careless, and they might say something that you do not like, and they can be judgmental. They can also have a hard time following through on promises. Capricorn. You are a Capricorn if you were born between December 22 and January 19. The constellation is the Goat. This sign is a negative polarity with a cardinal quality. The element is Earth, and it's ruled by Saturn. Capricorn people are hardworking and ambitious. They are very enthusiastic about life and are extremely driven, but they can also be pessimistic and greedy at times. They tend to put their achievements above all others. Aquarius. Aquarians are born between January 20 and February 18. The constellation is the Water Carrier. This sign has a positive polarity and a fixed quality. The element is air, and it's ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Aquarius people are advanced and very clever. They are an optimistic bunch and are very self-reliant, but they tend to have a very angry side, and they can be rebellious at times, and they can be impatient. Pisces. Pisceans are born between February 19 and March 20. The constellation are the Fishes. This sign has a negative polarity with a mutable quality. The element is water, and it's ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. Pisces people are intuitive and have great imaginations. They usually don't have a selfish bone in their body, and they can be very wise and romantic. They can keep an open mind, and they are very adaptable, but they sometimes lack confidence. They are a little insecure. They sometimes have trouble making decisions. So there you have it. Every sign has dual traits. You may get a better sense of how people who are close to you tick. I've often heard people ask, is there a sign good or bad? There is no bad sign, all right? It's just who you are. All the signs are good, and all signs have strengths and weaknesses, as you can see. And that's why I went over all of those like that. You will get a better sense of where your personality comes from when you read your chart, because that is more individualized. So I hope this gave you a little bit of insight. Let me know if you have any questions. Also, let me know if you have any thoughts on all of this, any of this. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon, or you can send me an email. I'll have links on the show notes. And before I go, I also want to give credit again to the book, The Secret Language of Astrology by Gillette, as this is where I did most of my research for this episode. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Have a very magical week. So that's going to do it for today. I will be airing these podcasts about once a week, so be sure to tune in. You might want to choose to get notified when I air so that you don't miss a thing. If you have any comments, please feel free to connect with me on my Facebook group. I will leave the link to that, along with my website, on the show notes. Blessed be.